Hey everybody, today it's all about Pawpaws. If you know anything about us and been following our videos, you know that we are really living one with the earth, and we love conservation, we love the ocean, the mountains, the forest. We live in the forest in a mountain home. And so, you can't help but pay attention to nature. And one of our dear friends is also a permaculture specialist, better known on Instagram as the Permaculture Ninja. And he knows everything Pawpaws. And so we have the privilege to have an interview directly with him about Pawpaws, and we're hoping to bring this to you. So let's take a look.
The pawpaw is North America's largest indigenous fruit, and I'm about to harvest the biggest cluster of pawpaws you have ever seen. Boom! Look at these beauties. This cultivar is called Potomac. This is one of the best pawpaws you can grow, grown out by Neil Peterson, the Mahatma of pawpaws. These huge pawpaws, this one right here probably weighs over a pound. And inside there's only going to be maybe 5 or 6 seeds. This is a far cry from many of the wild pawpaws, which can be, the size of a fingerling potato and be full of seeds and maybe have bitter notes, whereas these cultivated cultivars are absolutely exquisite. Their flavors and aromas are like banana, mango, pineapple, hints of honey and maple syrup, sometimes marshmallow. They really are something amazing that grows in the north. We can grow tropical fruit here in the cold, frigid lands. I love it.
Hi guys, August right here. I am with my friend Michael Judd, and he has something really special to share with us today. This is a fruit that many people might not know about, but you'll know about it now. Talk to me a little bit about, what are we seeing here?
So this is the pawpaw. This is the largest fruit indigenous to North America. It's basically a tropical fruit that migrated over millenniums into the north. And it has all of the tropical flavors of mango, banana, pineapple, and it has hints of marshmallow and honey and maple syrup in it. Wow. And we're gonna see, because we're gonna crack these beauties open and see that it's got like this gorgeous custard flesh to it.
Now, the colors here, is it indicative to like the different types or like?
Yeah, so here on our permaculture homestead, we grow probably over 30 different types, different cultivars of pawpaws. And there is a huge spectrum within the cultivars to where you have, like this is a Shenandoah pawpaw, and it has a very light color inside, and it's very sweet and mildly aromatic. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, you've got a character like this, Susquehanna, and then you'll see it's rich inside, almost orange, and has really strong notes and flavors in it. So
even the inside, it would be different colors.
Yeah, well, let's crack them open. Let's do it. Right. So I like to take these beauties and just go, wow.
Oh man, that easy.
That easy. And then you can kind of eat it like a push pop. It's got large seeds in there, and you don't want to eat the skin, but then you just
check that out. So if you push on it, look, it just tends to. You see that?
This is exquisite. This is like
oh my gosh.
This is like nature's dessert. you know. And so these can be a far cry from the wild pawpaw. The wild pawpaw,
It's almost like ice cream.
it is like ice cream. It's like pudding, right?
Yeah.
Custard, pure sweet, aromatic, no bitter notes in this. Whereas in the wild, you can have the pawpaws can be a lot smaller. You know, maybe the size of a fingerling potato, and they can be full of seeds. Whereas a cultivar like this has a very low seed to pulp ratio, so that we get a lot of that delicious pulp and very few of the seeds, and no bitter notes, and absolutely exquisite flavor. So,
amazing.
so you can see the Shenandoah, very light colored, very sweet. It's very popular for that reason, especially for newcomers to pawpaws. Now this is Susquehanna. Wow.
Oh, it's kind of like an orange
Yes. So this is-
mango look to it.
Yes, so this is the other end of the spectrum.
Wow.
Both in the color and, as you're about to find
that.
out, I know, and I can smell it
that.
already. This flavor is just, it's rich.
Oh,
And even the consistency is a little different
yeah, it is.
in the pulp. It's a little drier. It's a little more firm. Oh, oh man, that got a lot of, that's like goes up in your nose. This like surrounds all of your senses. This is actually my favorite. And both of these are Neil Peterson releases. Neil Peterson is the Mahatma of pawpaws. He dedicated his life to finding some of the best old cultivars, going to old homesteads and botanical gardens, crossing them and coming up with 7 released cultivars, all named after U.S. rivers with indigenous names. So Shenandoah, Susquehanna, Allegheny is another one of my favorites of his, Wabash. But I highly recommend all of Neil Peterson's cultivars for growing.
Now talk to me about what's here on the table. There's different shapes, different sizes.
Yeah.
This is one we just picked off of the tree today.
This one's gorgeous. So this is Potomac. This is also one of Neil Peterson's cultivars, and it's known for being one of the largest pawpaws you can grow. I mean, these are getting, you know, 1.5 pounds. I have grown some that have been 2 pounds. That's about as big as a pawpaw, you know, can get, which is huge because there's not many seeds in this. So remember,
So
it's
these are
mostly
all
pulp.
connected here. About how much
Yeah.
weight do you think this is?
Oh my God. They're coming apart. This right here, I would say is probably a good 3.5, maybe 4 pounds. So I mean, it's a huge cluster, and they can actually come up as many as 9 per
my
cluster, which is why sometimes people, you know, think of them as bananas because they'll have a bunch. When they're smaller too, they can look like that.
So it's safe to say that those who are seeking to have pawpaws grow on their property, that the tree is robust enough to be able to hold that type of weight.
It is. Now, I have a lot of resources for knowing how to grow your pawpaws, what, you know, conditions and, you know, climate, moisture, soil, and all that. A lot of material on my site for free, in my book, of course. I mean, I've covered pawpaws from seed to table. So if you're curious about pawpaws, check out my work. You'll be on your way to growing these if you're in the right settings.
And how do people contact you? What?
Instagram at Permaculture Ninja. My website, Ecologia Design, you know, is a great landing page for all the things that I have going on.
And you have workshops throughout the year too. With pawpaws,
Well,
right?
festival. We got a festival coming up. I'm gonna try and save these beauties, these big old Potomacs, for the Pawpaw Festival, which is usually in mid-September.
Okay.
So, you know, each year we have a great celebration of all things pawpaw. And people get to try and taste all these different cultivars, as well as see our food forest and our permaculture site, our circular straw bale house, which, you know, August and I are in right now. Chilling, eating pawpaws. Love it. Life's good. And then this cultivar is called Mango.
Okay.
This is like Shenandoah in that it's lighter and sweeter. This was actually developed or found in its southern range, southern Georgia. You know, southern Georgia, very northern Florida is how far south these go. They actually won't go subtropical anymore. And then they go all the way up, into Ontario, you know, as far as the northern reaches go. But mango is very popular. It ripens faster, and in the sense that you have to either process it or eat it more quickly.
What's this one called?
This cluster here, let me have a look. This is prolific.
Okay.
So, and it lives up to its name. Decent sized pawpaws, heavy bearer, mid-range as far as flavors go. So you're getting a good idea here that, you know, we've got options with these different characters.
And so, just another from a novice, right? So, the size is that indicative of the sweetness, or it doesn't matter? Like whichever one you get.
Each cultivar is going to have its own characteristics of flavor. I would say all of these cultivars are all sweet, so you're going to get a lot of sweetness no matter what.
Okay.
And then you're going to get a little variation in the texture of the, is it softer inside, a little bit more like cottage cheese, or is it firm?
Okay.
As far as the custardness goes. And then the aromatic notes and flavors are going to vary from a Shenandoah or a mango being lighter to what we just had with this Susquehanna, very rich and deep. So there's something for everybody. And there's Alleghenies, another wonderful cultivar that's right in the middle. So grow different ones so that you can have different flavor profiles.
Yeah.
They all pretty much harvest within 2 or 3 week period. For us in the Pawpaw belt, we're here in Maryland, this region, September is the harvest month. But they'll start as early as late July down in the south in Louisiana.
Okay.
They'll start in July and they'll go and have their later harvest up in New England in October.
Now I noticed that the two that we started with, they are pretty cold, like they've been in like the freezer. Can you freeze these?
Well, you can freeze them if you want to pulp them, and that's one of the tricks that I share in a lot of my material, because hand pulping them at room temperature is a messy affair. You got to get all the seeds out and you get flesh off of that. Whereas if you freeze these, put them in a freezer whole, just like you harvest them, and then you can peel them with like a potato peeler.
Okay.
And then you can cut them open and the seeds pop out very clean. Now the seeds won't be viable. You can't grow them after that. So you got to decide, how you want to do it. I've got so many pawpaws that I can easily freeze them, and I'll have plenty of seeds anyway.
So another funny thing though is years ago you had given us a handful of pawpaw seeds, and I really didn't know what to do with them. So I left them on my counter at home in a little dish. And I swear, everybody that came through wanted to touch them. They were holding them. They're so smooth and soft and neat. Like it was always a conversation starter. And I was able to talk to them a little bit about like, hey, you need to see my friend Michael Judd about these. And now I get my chance to actually sit here and enjoy the product of these seeds. So that's really cool.
Take these home too, and you want to keep your seeds moist. If you want to grow them out, clean them really well. Put them in a Ziploc bag, poke little pinholes in the bag. If you want, put a moist paper towel in there or just spritz it with water. Put that in your refrigerator, and for at least 3 months, longer is fine. And then you can take them out and you can germinate them. And I have tricks that can get these to germinate in 14 days. Otherwise, you're looking at, at least a month or 6 weeks for these things to germinate.
Okay.
They germinate well, but there's a patience game. But there are tricks and hacks I have that can help you get these to come through easily.
In general, what is the best time of year to plant your seeds? For
early spring.
Okay.
Early spring. If you're careful with your root handling, you can also do them in the late fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much, Michael, for explaining and sharing this part of our life here. We live with nature. If you've seen anything on my new YouTube channels, I love the sea, the air, the land, anything in the forest, mountains, and anything that comes from it, right? And sustainability is a big thing for me, and it is for Michael here too. So I'm glad that you guys were here to join us. And now you know what a pawpaw is. At least I do.
Yeah, enjoy them. Peace.